Hey, welcome to the video. I'm going to cover a few things today. Let's see what I'm going to do. I'm going to fix some things I screwed up. I'm going to put in some water lines. I'm going to put in a hydraulic clutch conversion kit. And I'm going to get that thing started up for you guys so y'all can hear it, and that's at the end. So one of the things I did when I had started on this car is I was gonna not use the factory pedal assembly. I was gonna go ahead and get a Willwood 3 pedal, but then I found out SubiWorks made a hydraulic clutch kit because I'm using a SubiWorks 5-speed. So I had welded this all shut. Yeah, right. I know, right? So I had to cut it back out. So I need to go in there now, start grinding because that hole's still too small for the pedal assembly to go into. So I'm going to have to do some grinding and fitting to get the pedal assembly and the bolts to go back in. Oh, getting there. Getting close. A little more. Pretty tapered at the end down there. All right, down to that. This little section right here that's got the tapers on, it's kind of oval. Kind of oval it out a little bit. Burr grinder's your friend. Sometimes. Let me show you. I got that kind of clear that out. So now that this fits back in there, I'm gonna go ahead and bolt it up and then start working on this clutch kit. Got this hardware kit right here. There's plenty of bolts in it. And this did not come with instructions, but it's kind of, well, I mean, some of it's kind of obvious, some of it's going to be together, kind of trial and error. Hopefully y'all can see that. I don't know if y'all can or not. So this is going to fit like that right there. And these are threaded, which is these bolts right here. You get a washer on it, and they got lock nuts on them, so, man, they're threaded and lock nut. They don't want these to go anywhere. That's for sure. Kind of a good way to do it though. Nothing more in sight, and then watch me play with these nuts and bolts, I guess. Anyway, so that's how this is kind of going together. Got to put these nuts on there. Let me go get a wrench and tighten this down. I'll be right back. Alright, let me get back to, couldn't find my 13mm socket. I don't know where it went. I guess it's where they all go, with God knows where. Well, I got those bolts in. I want to bore y'all to death. Watch me get these in. So I've got the bolts in on this thing right here. And I'm going to go ahead and screw this in. Okay, back. Couldn't find my socket, go figure. But y'all see what I'm doing. Okay, that's kind of in. So that goes there. So the way this works is this fits in here like this. It slides on. Let me get this out of the way here. It's going to slide on there, and you can kind of swivel it out of the way, I think. And maybe you can't. Maybe I got to back this one out a little bit. Alrighty, I see how you're going to be. You're kind of stubborn. That's okay. I'm more stubborn than you are. Before I started doing this, come on, you. There you go. Gotta kind of finagle it in. I think it's because when I re-drill these holes, they're not exactly back to factory spec. That's kind of holding there. I've got to find my socket. So obviously I got plenty of room to adjust. That's all I was doing right now. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out because I'm gonna make a lot of heat, because I'm gonna go ahead and weld this plate that I cut out. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it out, weld it back in, and get that done. Starts looking like crap, so I'd rather be able to put the carpet in once and leave it. And that's why I want to be able to access everything from underneath. Put the car in my buddy's lift or whatever. So what I got now is, y'all can see I've got this right here. This is something I made. I'm gonna put it on the back side. Inside there, I'm gonna mark it with a scribe or something pointy and then cut it out. Mark it a little, you can kind of see it's not exactly very straight, but I don't think that is either. Anyway, I'm gonna cut it, adjust, cut, adjust, cut, adjust until I cut too much, and then make a new one. Barely, tiny bit left. Okay, fits perfect. So what I got, I went ahead and cleaned this up, and I also went ahead and sanded off all the flapper, wheeled off all the paint, because I'm gonna weld this piece in, and I'm gonna fill all those holes up. Show you what I'm doing. I'm kind of tacking it all in. Y'all can see that. I'm gonna go ahead and weld it all the way around, and I'll show you what that looks like. Alrighty, I got that welded up, and you can kind of see, not the prettiest welds, but let me show you how to make your welds perfect. There you go. Look at that. It's called weld in a can. Look at that. It's the most perfect weld you've ever seen in your life. Isn't that beautiful? So when I cover it up with the carpet, it's almost a shame to cover it up because it looks so good, right? But anyway, that's gonna be covered up. Got that done. I'm gonna go ahead and make a panel for this real quick. I had cut this hole. I removed the parking brake. I need to make a cover for this. So I don't need a hole there, so that's my next step. What I did, got a piece of paper, that's my hole, made a piece that fits. Whoop, didn't fit. Anyway, made a piece that fits. I'm gonna mark it out on that piece of metal and then cut it out and kind of start grinding and sanding to make it fit perfect. Oh man, I found a piece almost a perfect size. I'm gonna cut there. There we go. Get that chopped out. I'm gonna put that right here so when I wash it, it'll ruin all my clothes. I know a lot of y'all are probably thinking I shouldn't use my welding gloves when I'm cutting metal, but if you hold your pinky out, you do like that while you're cutting it, then your gloves are fine. And they'll be good for all kinds of stuff. Let's get this cut out. Here you go. See how that's gonna fit. Probably gonna have to fit with the crap at first. Yeah, not too bad actually. I'm gonna cut it so this kind of lays down here, and so I'm gonna actually cut it to where it fits this way, and it overlaps a little here, and I'm gonna hammer that down. So I'm actually almost there. Let me get the wheel and cut off a hair more. I'm obviously not going to be able to use Volkswagen carpet because it's going to have a almost there. Boy, that's close. Is this going to have a? You can actually probably use the carpet because I'm going to mount a hydraulic parking brake here, and I wouldn't even call it a parking brake. It's just a hydraulic switch. It's just a hydraulic, like a locking brake. For that car, for the Baja, I've got just a chock block, what I use for it. Let's get this. Man, it's pretty dang close. That's great. Really good one. Almost. Okay, that's how it's going to fit. It's going to fit like that. I'm going to weld here. They're going to hammer this down and kind of weld along that edge, and then do my spray paint technique to make it perfect. All right. Time to get the weld over on this one. I forgot to turn the gas on. So these should turn out a little bit nicer, and may not have to paint them quite as much. Nah, I'll probably still have to. It's not the cleanest welds, but let me show you over here, and you can see where I kind of filled in right there. It took right there. I don't want to go too far down, but it took just fine. I'm going to clean all that up, hit it with a grinder, put a little paint on it, and then it's going to be under carpet anyway. I'm going to end up probably mounting a hydraulic, like a locking brake on there, you know, just when I need it for temporarily. So what I'm going to do. Welded up. Looks pretty clean. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. I could make that all perfect and make it look like it was never gone, but it's kind of pointless because it's going to have sound deadening on it, insulation on it, carpet on it. I'm not worried about it. But let me show you that magic trick again. Watch this. Look at that, like it never happened. OEM, that's a Pebble Beach Pebble Beach, perfect. All right, hey everybody, so I'm gonna be putting the water lines in the VW. What I've done, let me show you down here real quick. That's the AN lines. As you can see right there, I've put these together. They're AN16. Yes, that's more than enough water to cool an EJ205. AN16 is what they use for like supercharged LSs. It'll flow, those lines will flow more water than the water pumps could ever pump. So anyway, I've got AN20s on my Baja, and those are way too big. So anyway, so the way they're gonna work, I've kind of showed you in the past. I'm gonna feed them. I'm gonna feed the lines through here. They're gonna come through in here, and then come right here and connect to that fitting, and well, the fitting's out there right now, and this fitting right here. So let me go ahead and feed those through real quick, and then I kind of show you how they look. Let me angle the camera a little bit so you can kind of get an exciting view of what I do. I'm gonna do the long one first. Go ahead and feed it through. Now, let me show you something real quick. I'm putting them in to where they bow upward so they bow toward the bottom of the tunnel. That way they stay out of the way of the shifter. And also, when I do these for the final install, I'm going to be putting actually rubber hose over them as added insulation. So this is just fit up time to make sure everything fits good. And that's really all I'm doing right now is getting this part done. So let me go ahead and hook it up down here. All right, got that one in. Kind of hard to, and I'm not going to tighten them all the way. I'm just kind of getting them into position, and then I kind of show y'all what they're going to look like. You can then just snug it down, and then feed this one through. And we'll get this one hooked up. All right, let me kind of show you what I'm doing. Get a little bit better view of it. You can see right here where these are. They're not tightened up, they're just kind of sitting in there. And you can see where the 16s come through. Like I said, these are just sticking in right now, they're not mounted. They come through, they're gonna have rubber hose on them. I'm going to zip tie these to the throttle cable tube right here, so it'll keep them down like this, and of course they'll have rubber insulation on them. And then you see them right here. There's one. I don't know if you can see that one in there, and then you see the other one right there. So that's kind of where they're at right now, and you'll see that AN line sticking out there, and this sticking out right there. So that's kind of how they're going to run. And they're not the final install yet. Just making sure everything, I measure them correctly, they fit right, and they do. So that's what I've got going on. And let's just go on to the next thing. Hey, so I've had a lot of people reach out, ask me about this Volkswagen. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about it, and people said, I want to hear it run. So I'm going to go ahead and start it for y'all. So this is it's a 13B 6-port that I put in this. I put the radiator on back. It used to be up front, but it was getting the fuel too hot. So anyway, it's a big, nice big radiator. I've got electric water pump on it. It's a 73, I think it's 73, I don't remember, 73 Volkswagen. I've got on rollers because I had to move it over because of these stupid plants I had to get in here. Anyway, I had a fuel cell in back here because I had the radiator up front and I had the fuel cell up front, but the fuel was getting really hot and it was kind of concerning me. So I bought a FIA approved in-cockpit fuel cell that I put back here. And I don't know, guys, that still made me nervous having it back there. So I end up saying, you know what, I'm just gonna put the radiator on the back wing and then put the fuel cell back up front. So here's what I did. That's the fuel cell, that's the battery. Do not laugh at my wiring, or yes, you probably can laugh at it. It used to look great. It really looked good. And then I kept adding stuff and cutting into it. Now it looks like crap. And it was a $100 Amazon wiring harness anyway. So I've got a painless harness that I'm gonna be putting in it. It's just gonna be really nice. That's one of my projects to do probably this spring. It's got a Holley Sniper on it. It's kind of dark, I don't know if y'all can see it. Anyway, I've got a Holley Sniper on it, and let me get it cranked up. It's been a really fun car. It drives surprisingly well. Oh, by the way, these incredible solid leather black seats are from a Subaru STI. And let me tell you something. I got them for 400 bucks, and they got heaters, and they are like amazing seats. So let me get this thing cranked up. Watch it not start now because I'm on a video, right? Isn't that how it works? Turn the lights on, y'all can see the gauges. I've got speed hut gauges. So there's no rear view mirror because I've got that scooping back. So I added a camera. So I see behind me everywhere I go. It even has the indicators when I'm backing up. So it's really cool, but when I'm driving, I can always see behind me. That's the electric water pump. It controls the fans and the water pump. Right now, you know, neither one's running. When it gets to about 80 Celsius, the fans kick on and it cools it down. I'm gonna do like American stuff because it goes from 190, it'll cool it down to 175 in about 40 seconds. That's how good it works. What I like about it is when I turn the car off, let's say it's 185. When I turn the car off, the fans and the pump kick back on, and they will run until it gets down to about 165, which literally takes probably 30 seconds. So it's really neat that it cools the motor back down. Here are the gauges. These are all speed hut. Yes, I do rev to 10 grand. This is the quad gauge speedometer. This is the Holley control panel. So it's got my AFRs. It's got my RPMs. It's got my voltage. My throttle control position. This runs on throttle control, so this is really neat. And I want to show you something else really cool. Let me turn the lights on. Oh, they are on. Let me show you something really cool. For the lights, I used LEDs they're on Amazon. They say they're for Harley Davidsons or whatever. Yeah, but anyway, so that's the LED lights. Let me show you what the blinkers look like. They're really cool. And the brake lights, obviously I can't do it when I'm out of the car, but they are super bright. But let me show you how the blinkers look. They're also in the LEDs. These LEDs are tiny, but they are bright as can be. I've got another third row brake. I've got a third brake under there that I had put on before I put the radiator back. So when I rewire the car, I'm moving the third brake light right to here. And let me tell you something, those things are so bright, they're absolutely blinding. So let me get this thing turned off. So that's kind of the walk around of the car. It's been really fun. It's a fun car. I've got, for suspension, I've got the standard I-beam up front. And then I've got 3x3 arms. So these arms in back, the trailing arms, they move the tires back 3 inches and out 3 inches. So it gives us a wider stance, and it gives it a little bit longer wheelbase. And to me, it just looks better. So that's kind of what it looks like. Let me show you my oil cooler. I've got the radiator in there. Then you can see I put the oil cooler right there. On these rotaries, that oil cooling is probably 25% of the cooling's from the oil, because they run hot. And that's my rear view camera right there. No, it's not a GoPro. I got it on Amazon for like 120 bucks, and it works just amazing. So anyway, that's where I used to put in fuel because the cell was down there. I left it on there because it looks like a race car. No, I just hadn't had time to take it off. So there you go. And something else you don't want to miss is the next video, because here's why. I am going to do a full unboxing and assembly of the iMore front and rear double A-arm suspensions I got. They're from Brazil. Amazing product. I was initially scared of, like, oh my God, I'm ordering something from Brazil. Man, those guys are absolutely fantastic. Anyway, the next video, I'm gonna unbox these. They're all disassembled. I'm gonna lay it all out. I'm gonna assemble the front and the rear suspensions for y'all. It's gonna be a real good tutorial on how to do it. And then the video after that, I'm gonna be installing suspension on there.